Hey there, second grade. Okay, you guys are working on the skill of character now. And so I wanted to show you guys how to fill out the visual tool for a character. This is what it looks like if there's nothing done on it for you. Okay, so we put the character's name here in the middle, and then we think about what does the character do, and that's the action. And we think about what does the character say, and that's called dialogue. Now, dialogue is a very fancy word for the words that the character says. Okay, so I'm going to use the book, The Brief Thief, to fill out this character visual tool for you guys. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the character's name in the first box. And so there were actually three characters in this book, right? There was the lizard. What was his name? Leon. And then there was the rabbit, and we don't know what his name was. We call him Super Rabbit or Super Bunny. And then we have Leon's conscience, right? Okay, so I can choose which one I want to do. I think that I'm going to choose Leon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in this box right here. This is character's name, and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to write Leon. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for that because that was his name, Leon. Okay, now I'm going to think about some things that Leon did in the story, The Brief Thief. Okay, one thing that he did was he stole these briefs, or as we found out later, they were really a mask for the bunny to use instead of toilet paper when he had a little poop. Right. But I don't really want to use that one because I don't know, that didn't really, that wasn't the end of his story, really. And so I could put that one on there, though. I could put several. But I'm just going to put one today. So I'm really going to think about in the very end, his conscience was talking to him, and his conscience said, "You know what you need to do." And Leon decided to do what? Do you remember? He decided to scrub the briefs, and he cleaned them, right? And he left them there. So he scrubbed the briefs, right? And what does that show us? Let's see. Now, let me just say that sometimes you have a paragraph number or a page number you can put down. But this one, when Leon scrubs the briefs, right here, there's no page numbers here. So I'm not going to put a page number or a paragraph number or a line number. But sometimes you might do that. And then that just proves to your teacher that you know where you found your information and you found it exactly from the book, right? So, but that does show me that Leon was the kind of person who was going to do the right thing, right? So I think it doesn't really show us that he was honest necessarily, but it just shows us that he is good on the inside, right? That he's responsible. I think that would be a really good word for that. So when I put scrub the briefs up here, and then I'm just going to hit enter. Well, not enter. I'm going to space it out a little bit, and I'm going to type the word responsible because that shows us that Leon was responsible for his actions. Okay, so I could put another bubble if I wanted to, or sometimes you might have an example here that will be one action from the story and you've got to pick a different action. Okay, now I got to go back to dialogue. Now remember, dialogue is what does the character say and what does that show us about the character? Well, I was looking through the book and I was trying to find, the only person that Leon talked to was his conscience, right? And so right here is when he first starts talking to his conscience, and he says, and I'll show you this real quick, and then I'm going to read it to you. He says, "It's me, your conscience." My conscience, what's that? I'm the little voice you hear inside your head whenever you get up to something naughty. But I didn't do anything. Right there, he says something, and he doesn't feel guilty at all right there, does he? Are you sure? 100% sure? Cross your heart sure? Well, there were those underpants. So that's the thing I want to write down because that really shows me something about his character. So again, I don't have a page number to put down, but I can point to it right in the story because I just read it to you, okay? So I'm going to go here in this box and I'm going to delete this part. Whoopsie. I moved the circle instead and get it back to its right spot. Now, if I ever do that, and if you ever mess up in the computer, you can always go up here to the undo button and it'll put it right back where it was. Okay, but I'm just going to click in here and I'm going to highlight this and delete it. I'm going to give you an example of something that he said. And he said, well, oh, you know what else I'm going to do before I do that? I'm going to put these quotation marks because quotation marks tell us that the character is talking. Well, ... There were those underpants. And then it was another ... I'm going to put the end of the quotation marks right there because that's the end of what he says. Now, that shows me a little bit that he's starting to feel guilty. So that's what I'm going to write down here, that he feels guilty, because that's what it tells me about him on the inside. Okay, and that's all you have to do for the character visual tool for 2nd grade. All right, do a good job. I can't wait to see how you do on this, and I'll see you guys soon.